Here's the story they never stitched together. The slow bleed of a lucky country by 1,000 smart decisions. First, the symbol Lima, 1975. Not a binding treaty, but a signal flare for the age of offshoring. We were told global equity. What we got wasn't Lima itself. Make it elsewhere, import it back, tariff, call it progress. 1970s to 1990s. The 25% cut in 73, then wave after wave. Cheaper clothes, sure. And shuttered factories from Footscray to Whyalla. We didn't get competitive, we amputated capacity. Manufacturing fell from a pillar to a footnote. A nation that once built cars, tools, ships, parts, now imports nuts and bolts by the container. Then came national competition policy and the electricity experiment. Break up, privatize, let the market deliver. It delivered all right. Gentailer oligopolies, network gold plating, and bills that climbed while we sat on oceans of gas and mountains of coal. We even became an LNG super exporter who couldn't afford gas at home. Peak Australia trade deals? AUS FTA was sold as the big win. We handed over IP extensions and policy space, got sugar-coated promises and trade diversion. Then Japan, Korea, China, more access on paper, more imports in practice. The last auto plants closed, parts makers followed, and our economic complexity thinned to mining, housing, and hope. CPTPP layered investor privileges and rule locks that make national course corrections harder when things go sideways. Climate Accords next, Kyoto was mild. Paris is the lodestar. The goal matters, but policy without planning punishes people. We chased emissions targets with no sovereign energy plan. Old coal retired before replacement was firm. Gas was tied to export parity prices. Storage lagged. Transmission stumbled. When bills spiked and lights flickered, they blamed the weather, the market, or you, never the design. Housing? 2 tax levers turned shelter into a slot machine. Negative gearing and the 50% capital gains discount. Rent losses write off your wage tax today. Lightly taxed gains reward the flip tomorrow. Result: investors outbid first home buyers. Prices decoupled from incomes, debt soared, and an entire generation was told to latte budget their way into a bubble. Then we stacked it with population policy. Big Australia, small planning. Rapid migration can be powerful when housing and infrastructure run ahead of the curve. Ours didn't. We added people faster than homes, hospitals, trains, and schools. Rents surged, commute times blew out, and GDP headlines hid falling living standards per person. Thread the beads, deindustrialize, financialize, privatize, externalize. Cheaper t-shirts, pricier power. Bigger GDP, thinner resilience. Global rules we can't amend, domestic levers we won't pull. And every time a crisis hits, energy, housing, supply chains, skills, we discover we traded buffers for theories. This isn't nostalgia for the old world. It's a call to rebuild a real economy with adult settings. Remake Australia. Target critical manufacturing. Energy hardware, rail, ag tech, med devices, defense, advanced materials. With time-bound procurement, local content floors, and export missions that reward complexity, not just dirt on boats. Fix the energy spine. Reserve domestic gas, build firming, hydro, batteries, fast-start turbines, and sequence coal exits to actual replacement, not press releases. Treat the grid as nation-building infrastructure, not a casino. Unrig housing. Phase out negative gearing on existing properties. Taper the CGT discount. Supercharge build-to-rent and social housing, unlock serviced land, and tie migration intake to verified housing and infrastructure capacity. Sovereign trade posture, audit every FTA for net benefit, carve out public services in critical industries, sunset ISDS, and restore room to buy Australian when strategic. Population with a plan, skills-matched, regionally balanced infrastructure first. No more announce and pray. Build the seats before you sell the tickets. Call this protectionism if you want. I call it stewardship. The market is a tool, not a god. Treat energy as a utility, housing as shelter, industry as capability, and trade as a strategy. Or keep paying top dollar to be a branch office on someone else's map. We can reverse the drift, not by slogans but by levers. Not by blaming Lima, Paris, or Pluto, but by setting terms that serve Australians first, then welcoming the world on that footing. I'm Ash and Quill. I don't hate global. I hate fragile. Bring back the backbone. Make things. Power them affordably. House people fairly. And keep the pen that writes our future in Australian hands.